Hello everyone again. So in this video, we are going to do something that is Christmas festive because I've never done anything like that on this channel before. So we're going to be making or trying making this Christmas card here. I'm going to show you how it's done. And with the previous video on how to make the collage papers, this would be very easy to make. I will see you inside. Okay, so I'm going to show you all the materials that are probably required for this project. Okay, so basic materials. I'm going to show you what are the most basic materials that you will need, and you can complete this project without any other more advanced tools. Okay, so basically what you are going to need first and foremost is, because we're making a greeting card, so you need either cardstock or heavyweight paper. So what I'm using is a 160 GSM card. Well, it says it's project cards here, so it doesn't matter because it's thick enough and it's stiff enough to make a card, and that's all that matters. Okay, and most basic thing you're going to need is, the other stuff is all these collage papers that you've made, background collage papers, and one more thing, a printout of all these things that you're going to need. Okay, printout of your text. All right, so I printed this out on a sheet of tracing paper. So this is tracing paper here, and I'm just noticing that it got crinkled, so hopefully it's not going to show up as much. So you see that I have two things printed out but I only have one card. Okay, this is for a later project that you will see. What I'm going to put on the card are these two. Now, if you zoom in closer, you will notice that there's some discrepancy with the printing, the ink, and I was thinking like, oh, should I redo it? And I'm like, well, let's not and just leave it. It probably will just give the whole card a little bit more character with it, kind of like textured text. It'll probably not be so visible unless you really scrutinize, so I'm more concerned with these creases here, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so in any case, this is going to be it. So you need, now if you don't want to print this, I'll show you how I put this through my printer, because my printer doesn't take anything translucent or transparent very well, so I had to like manipulate my printer sensor into thinking that it's using a piece of paper, a piece of regular paper. Okay, it won't print on tracing paper for whatever reason, because it thinks that there's no paper there. So in any case, that's not the important thing. And if you don't have access to the printer, or if you don't want to do this, you can just write it with some pen, some brush pen or calligraphy pen or something to your liking. All right. And then the other things you're going to need is probably a brush and your matte gel medium as glue for sticking all your collage paper. Now, I have two brushes here. Okay, the reason why I have it here is just to show you that you could use this silicone tip brush, or you can use a regular brush. You don't have to use both. I've never used this before because this is a recent acquisition, so I'm gonna try and see how it does, because I've been told that using this is much more convenient than using this, because cleanup is a whole lot easier with the silicone tip brush. But if you don't have and you want to use your fingers, that's fine too. Okay, so these are just tools of application for the gel medium, and that's all. Your gel medium goes down well with your fingers in any case. Okay, or if you don't have gel medium, you can use whatever glue you have on hand, and that's fine too. And then you're going to need some kind of cutting tool, either a penknife, we call this a penknife here, like this, or I don't know what you guys call it overseas, box cutter or whatever. So in any case, or a pair of scissors. Okay, now with my design, I'm going to be doing a circle on one of these papers. Okay, so if you have access to a circle cutter, you can use that. Otherwise, it's just going to be something that draws circle, and you're just going to use scissors or a knife to cut it out. That's all. It's going to be a very simple card. Nothing complicated. Okay, and oh yes, one more thing. Yeah, I have some more other collage paper that I'm not showing here just yet because it's stashed away somewhere and I don't want to stop this video now to go pull it out and show it to you. So basically, these are the basic things, and then you might want to have some coloring materials handy, and I'm using these gel pens, these gel sticks, because I've not had an excuse to pull them out ever since I reviewed them. Well, I've used it a few other times for some other stuff, but today I thought in this project this is going to be very useful and handy. So you're going to see me use it simply, just probably only 1 or 2 colors, and I have like 48 colors of this, and if I find that it's not enough, I might pull the other colors out. Okay, so in any case, if you don't want to use this gel medium, this gel sticks as coloring medium, you can use anything, oil pastel or whatever. But let me just say one thing: be mindful of what you put. If you're using oil pastels or anything that is oil based, be mindful of what you're putting on top of whatever you just colored on. Okay, because remember, oil and glues do not mix well. Okay, so that's why I'm using water-based materials, and hopefully it will not smudge. All right, so anyways, this is probably everything that you need basically to complete this project. You might need a ruler or a bone folder, but you don't actually need it. It's just helpful to have them handy. Okay, so anyways, this is all the materials that you really need to have, and then I will see you in a little bit in the construction of the card. Okay, I'm going to show you how I do my printing on tracing paper, because I have a weird printer. It doesn't want to print on tracing paper, but it'll print on white paper, and some testing revealed that it's probably because the sensor is thinking that there's no paper when I load in the printer paper. So basically what I do is I take a sheet of A4 size paper. Now, you have 2 choices, okay? So your first choice is to glue an A4 size paper if you encounter the same problem as I do. So you glue a piece of tracing paper onto A4 size printer paper, okay? And then you have to cut it off. Okay, so what I did instead was I took a piece of tracing paper and I cut it slightly smaller, and I use washi tape or some low-tech tape. This is low-tech tape, which is slightly stronger than washi tape, but it's not exactly washi tape. And then I tape the top and bottom. You might want to tape all four sides, but I was trying to save, and it worked for me because tracing paper is quite a bit thicker than rice paper, so it should hold. So I only tape the top and bottom, and then I'm going to feed this sheet in, and then I'm going to print whatever I need on this space here. So when you are working on your program, on your graphics, on your computer, or your laptop, or your tablet, or whatever, you just have to make sure that you print within this space and not right up to the edge. Okay, now, so you've seen how I did it because I did it before filming. So it's basically, this is tracing paper and this is printer paper. Okay, so that's how I get around my problem of not being able to print on tracing paper or translucent paper for that matter on my printer. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start with making the card base first. So this is still A4 size. So I'm going to fold it in half. Now, remember I mentioned that, you can either use a ruler or use your fingers. So I'm going to show you how to use the ruler. So basically what I do is I slip the ruler. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so because I don't want to move. So basically what I'm doing is I fold this paper is folded. I'm going to slip it into the hollow here, and then I'm just going to do this. Okay. Now, the luxury thing I can do also is using a bone folder. That will work as well. It's probably easier. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you do it. You just need the paper to be folded in half. And this bone folder is going to do a really good job at making this fold, this crease here, okay? Otherwise, you can just use your finger to do this. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this up. Right? So now I have two sheets. So I fold it into half again. Okay, like so. And there you have it, the base for a cut. The base for a card. Now you have this thing here. We will deal with it later, or you can just leave it. Wait, with this thing here, this jagged raw edge here. So we can deal with this later, or you can use a little nail file to file it down and it'll be straight. Otherwise, you could just use a pair of scissors and just trim it a little bit, okay? But right now, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just going to leave it as it is because I know by the time I'm done with it, at least one of this side is going to be straight. And the other side, unless you look really closely, it's not going to matter. All right? So this is the base that we're going to be starting with. Okay? All right. So what are we going to do? So first of all, I'm going to test to see if the print I made is good enough and it looks good enough. So I'm happy with that. So I'll deal with this later because that's one of the last things to do. And then I'm going to start with making a background. All right, so I have two ways of doing this here because I made 3 sheets, different patterns. Well, not really different, just the colors a little bit different. So which would I want? I think I might want to go with this because it is the the background. So having a really unclear background is probably the best way to go. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have folded it there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to trim the access on here off. And there we go. We got the background of the card. I want it this way. Keep it this way though. Now, instead of doing this one whole sheet, you can also just tear stuff out of this paper and just glue them in patches. Okay. So what I need now is my gel medium. Okay, so this is the background of my card. So now I'm going to find a circle that's kind of not too big and not too small. No. It's too small. hey, you do not need this. So this is a luxury item which you do not need. I'm using it because I have it. You can just use a compass to do it if you need to. Alright. So now I need to cut this out. Alright. So if you happen to have a hole puncher, something like this, but this is too small. I haven't tested this out yet. This is like brand new. Yeah, this is a little bit too small. So that's why I didn't want to use it. But it does make a perfect circle. Alright, so I'm going to decide where I'm going to put this. Let me trim it a little bit. Okay, so I'm kind of trying to make out where I want all these things. Oh no, it's this one. So, okay, I'm going to tear this out now. So this is, I think this is pretty good, but I'm not going to stick them down right just about yet. But what I need to do is I need to, because I want to make a really straight kind of darker line, so to say. I'm kind of seeing where I should put all this stuff. And this is where these gel sticks come in. Whoops. Okay, so I want a medium blue. It doesn't clash. Yeah, I think this is good. It's too close. So I think I'm gonna use a little bit of this color. Okay, let's see how this looks. This looks kind of decent. Kind of what I was looking for. Okay, so this back, need a darker color. Okay, so now what I need is alright, so next I'm going to use this sheet of paper. Not sure where I want it yet, so I think that's still the best spot. Now again, you can cut little bits of the paper and just stick it to this if you want. This basically my base for, you know, one of those Christmas decoration balls. I don't know what's called, like the decorative ornament. Okay, so it doesn't really fit exactly right now, but I'm gonna alter it. Or I can just turn it until it fits just nice. This is probably as close as... Yeah, this is probably as close as I'm gonna get for now. So I am going to put some glue down again. And I just remembered something I forgot. My chrome marker. So I'm going to trim this while it's drying. And this is kind of how it's going to look. But before that, I need another layer, which I've prepared well beforehand. So I've printed a sheet of jingle bells out on tracing paper using the same techniques I showed you earlier. Okay. And I'm gonna put some of these down. Okay, so I know where I'm going to stick this. You can see that this is translucent. And the reason why I need this is because I wanted to draw a little stamen, kind of. Need to wait for all that to dry first. Now I'm just gluing down the text while I wait for the glue on the other parts to dry. Now my printer happens to print with pigment inks, so they're waterproof. So I'm not really that afraid of smudging. So I'm gluing the circle on now. So I'm noticing some mistorn wordings here. I'm trying to fix with just a fine liner. And that's all. And I wanted to add something else. Hoping there's ink in it. Yeah. Hopefully it won't fail on me. Hello everyone. So this is future me talking during the editing. So I want to point out that if you intend to do this card, my best advice to you is use some cheap watercolor, cheap, thick watercolor in the range of 200 GSM to 300 GSM. Because what I discovered with this 160 GSM card is it warps like nobody's business. Look. So it still works as a greeting card, but I don't know, man. If you're going to be sending it to someone, you should be using a thicker piece of paper for the base. So 160 GSM card is not good enough. So try using a piece of cheap watercolor paper. It doesn't matter if it's cotton base or pulp base, wood pulp base, because at the end of the day, you are covering the entire front side of the card up and you're not doing any painting on it. You're just sticking stuff on it. So I was a little disappointed at the final product because of how warped this is. I'm happy with how this looks. You know, like I thought this looks like Earth. It wasn't intended to be like that, but it looks like it. So anyways, this is just an advance warning. So, but the method of doing this is the same. Now back to the regular video, and I will talk to you a little bit later. So that's it. This is the completed card. And the other thing I could probably do is maybe put a coat of varnish on this, but I'm not going to at this point in time. I think this is pretty good. The next one you will see me varnishing. All right. So I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye.